call it glee. It was more frustration.
Wasting money, wasting those
my
quarters.
money.
In the news this morning, it's the start of a new year, which means new laws. How the new minimum wage in Minnesota is going to impact its workers. Plus, there's some parking changes coming to downtown Rochester. We'll tell you what those are and when it's happening.
And it's the first of the new year. We got some cloudy skies hanging around, but will we see a clearing in the day today? I'll let you know coming up.
Live from your local news leader, this is KTTC News.
Good morning and thanks for joining us on this New Year Day. I'm Darian Letty in for Jess and Kelsey. It's January 1st, which means a number of new laws in Minnesota will take effect. Let's take a look at some of those. First up, the new statewide sick and safe time law will require employers to provide paid sick time off to most working Minnesotans. Under the new law, employees will earn 1 hour of sick and safe time for every 30 hours worked, with a maximum of 48 hours per year. This is for anyone who works at least 80 hours in a year for an employer in the state, excluding independent contractors. The Minnesota Department of Labor and Industry says temporary and part-time employees are also covered under the new law. Another law in Minnesota coming this year, it's aimed to make voting more accessible to those who don't speak English as a first language. Starting today, every precinct in the state will be providing ballots and other materials in the state's 3 most commonly spoken languages outside of English. For that, it includes Spanish, Somali, and Hmong. However, that could change as Minnesota's most common languages may shift over time. Meanwhile, workers in Minnesota who make minimum wage will see an increase in their paychecks beginning today. The boost, which the Department of Labor and Industry says is adjusted for the inflation, will be $10.85 per hour for large employers and $8.85 for small employers. It's worth noting that the statewide wage hike will not interfere with the minimum wage requirements in Minneapolis and St. Paul, both of which have already implemented higher hourly rates. And as of today, every school district in Minnesota will be required to provide sanitary products free of charge to students who menstruate. The new law states the products must be available in restrooms regularly used by students in grades 4 through 12. Happening today, you can start off 2024 on the right direction by taking part in the New Year's Day Resolution 5K in Rochester. It's put on by Terra Loco. The run will start at the shoe store just off of 16th Street Southwest. Runners will also share their resolutions for the new year with each other. There will be snacks and free prizes as well. It all kicks off at 11 today. We'll have a link for more information on our website, kttc.com. Starting tomorrow, you're going to have to pay to park in downtown Rochester in a ramp if you're parked there for longer than an hour. For the past 2 months, drivers have been able to park at the ramps for free for 2 hours. That was part of a program to encourage more frequent and longer visits to downtown Rochester during the holiday shopping season. And another reminder from the city, parking downtown at city ramps and meters is always free on the weekends and after 5 p.m. on weekdays. Time now for a quick check on the weather. Our David Burgett is out on the weather patio. What's it looking like for the first day of the year, David?
The first day of the year has some cloudy conditions, at least this morning, in store for us here, Darian. We are seeing some cool temperatures this morning into the low 20s here in Rochester. And we are seeing a calmer wind out of the west-northwest at 7 miles per hour, bringing us our feels-of temperature 9 degrees cooler than it's actually here in Rochester at the moment. So we are going to be seeing calmer wind speeds out of the west-northwest today, just peaking around 6 miles per hour there in Preston and Osage. We are seeing temperatures around the region into the 20s for us right now. Highest temperature right now is going to be along the Mississippi right there in Winona County. So a little warmer temperatures, trying to peak up there into the lower 30s in the Mississippi River area, but we're seeing a lot of cloud coverage on the radar this morning to start off the new year. And if you just take a wider look at this, we're seeing an expansive amount of cloud coverage of these low-hanging clouds through this morning, and it should be lasting us pretty much throughout most of the afternoon. There is a small chance that we could get some clearing into the afternoon, before we really get to the evening hours, but I do think the cloud coverage will be hanging around for most of today before we clear out a little bit later tonight. So tracking out the next few hours for us, the next forecast for you.
All right, David, thank you so much. A Rochester teen is dead after a crash in Dakota County. According to the Hennepin County Medical Examiner's Office, around 7 Friday night, 18-year-old Ruwaida Fawazi Saeed was involved in a crash near 210th Street East in Vermilion Township. The medical examiner's office says she died on the scene after receiving multiple blunt force injuries. No other information is available at this time. Japan has issued a tsunami warning after multiple strong earthquakes struck on New Year's Day. The massive quakes hit off the coast of Ishika, and one even reaching a magnitude of 7.6. That's according to the Japan Meteorological Agency, with tremors being felt in Tokyo as well. The agency also issued the tsunami warning after 32,000 buildings had lost power. Japanese public broadcaster NHK-TV has now warned that the waves could reach as high as 16.5 feet. They've also urged people on the entire West Coast to get to the highest place as soon as possible. As much of the world celebrates the start of a new year, those in Israel are continuing calls for the release of hostages and an end to the war with Hamas. Rockets fired from Gaza raced towards central Israel and triggered sirens throughout the central and southern parts of the country on Sunday. Hamas's armed wing said the barrage was in response to massive attacks against civilians in Gaza. This comes after Israeli jets intensified attacks on central Gaza, and the prime minister said the war would take many more months to end. Europe's longest reigning living monarch has announced that she will abdicate after 52 years. Denmark's Queen Margrethe II, who is very popular among the Danish people, made the announcement Sunday during her New Year's speech. The 83-year-old queen said she will step down on January 14th, which is the anniversary of her own accession to the throne at the age of 31, and hand the monarchy over to her son, Crown Prince Frederick. A North Carolina man is dead after his plane crashed over the weekend. The North Carolina State Highway Patrol said officers responded to reports of an airplane crash around 12:15 Sunday afternoon. Officials say the single-engine plane attempted to land at Lake Norman Airport, but struck several trees and crashed into an abandoned house site. The pilot was taken to a local hospital where he later died.
The runway for the airport's directly across from our location, so he was lined up for a landing. He had been out, from what we've heard, about 20 minutes flying and on his way back in when he made an emergency maneuver to land quickly.
The FAA will conduct a full investigation into the crash. The last Powerball drawing of 2023 took place Saturday night, and once again, no one won the big jackpot, valued at just over $786 million. The jackpot will now roll into the new year, worth an estimated $810 million. During the next drawing today, that would rank it the 5th largest Powerball jackpot and the 10th largest U.S. lottery jackpot ever. If a ticket does match all 6 numbers tonight, the estimated cash value would be $408.9 million. Wouldn't that be nice to bring in the new year with that? It is 6:08, and as we're starting off this new year, many of us are looking to make more conscious choices in the kitchen. In today's Egg Day Minute, we're going to tell you what experts say may be the best diet for weight loss. That's coming up next, but first, here's David.
And we are seeing temperatures into the 20s this morning, but as we get into the new year, are we going to warm up or are we going to cool down and be below average for once? I'll let you know coming up here shortly.
If you live alone, it may be a good idea to have a pet. Reasons why in today's Egg Day Minute.
I'm Clinton Griffiths with today's Ag Day Minute. Americans love their coffee, and a new USDA report is forecasting U.S. imports of coffee in 2024 to jump, moving from 22.5 million bags to 24 million this next season. Now, world coffee production is forecast to top the past season by almost 7 million bags, but experts say that won't be enough of an increase to keep world coffee inventories from shrinking, which could reach their lowest level in 12 years. Looking to go on a diet in the new year? Well, new research says people who ate a meat-based, low-carb diet actually gained weight over time compared to those who followed a plant-based version. Now, the researchers report while all the diets reduced carbohydrates, people who ate a diet full of animal protein and fat gained weight in the long term compared to those who focused on eating more fruits, whole grains, and non-starchy vegetables. Now, the study was conducted by the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health in Boston. Having a four-legged friend may slow the rate of cognitive decline among older adults who live alone. Researchers from China looked at data from nearly 8,000 people who were 50 or older. They found pet ownership was associated with slower rates of decline in verbal cognition, verbal memory, and fluency in those who lived alone. But the study authors did not observe this association in those who lived with other people. For more Ag News, watch Ag Day weekdays on the station anytime at agweb.com.
Here's your first alert weather with meteorologist David Burgett.
Happy New Year to you. We are seeing some cool temperatures this morning, and actually right now we're below the average overnight low. Usually we're seeing 23 degrees to 24 degrees for the first of the year, and we're currently at 20 in Rochester. So we do have some overcast skies right now, and it feels like temperatures around 11 degrees with that calmer wind out of the west northwest at 7 miles per hour this morning. We are seeing temperatures into the 20s around the region, even into the teens here in Dodge Center and Owatonna. So again, cooler temperatures right now. We are seeing some calm wind speeds out of the west northwest, peaking here in Rochester right now at 7 miles per hour. We're going to see the wind speeds actually increase a little bit later through today, but we're seeing a lot of overcast skies right now, and it's kind of a whole trail right now of this cloud coverage all the way from the top of the state and through the bottom of the state here. So we are going to be seeing a lot of overcast skies throughout the morning and potentially see it clearing into the afternoon hours. But as we go through tonight and today, we are going to see our wind speeds or our gusts actually increase into the low 20s as we get into the overnight hours tonight. So things will be a little bit breezy, and our wind chill will probably feel a little bit cooler out there as we get into the new year here. So as we go through today, it will be cloudy and relatively calm for this morning and into the afternoon. Later tonight, maybe a little bit into the later afternoon hours, we could see some clearing with that cloud coverage, and we'll be pretty much cool as we get into the overnight hours in terms of those overnight lows. But this week we're going to be mild in our temperatures and relatively dry with our forecast. So pretty much a calm start to the new year right now. So tracking this out for you, we are going to be seeing temperatures, I think, a little bit into the lower 20s across the region. In some places we'll see the teens this morning. Cloud coverage will be sticking with us according to this model for today. I think this model might be over projecting just a bit on that. So temperatures today will be a little bit warmer into the mid 20s to upper 20s, and the clearing according to this model really comes towards the later evening hours and before we get into Tuesday morning, January 2nd here. Temperatures overnight will be into the low 20s across the region. Cloud coverage kind of comes back for tomorrow morning and through tomorrow afternoon, where temperatures will be into the lower 30s for us and upper 20s across the region. So as we make our way into the new year, the Climate Prediction Center is predicting for us to be above average in terms of our temperatures here. So, and as we make our way into the second week of the new year, look at this, we're actually going to be below average in terms of that temperature outlook. So usually we're above average lately of pretty much all of December too. So we're finally going to probably see below average temperatures as we make our way into January. But for this week, this first week, we're going to be in the 30s and upper 20s for us here in southeastern Minnesota and northeast Iowa, and even in Rochester here in Olmsted County. So that's just another way of just making our way into the new year with above average temperatures again. But pretty much cloudy for today again. We are going to be seeing some little breezy conditions as we make our way into the overnight hours, but we'll see northwest winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour with potential clearing of that cloud coverage in the forecast. Clouds will come back around for tomorrow, for January 2nd, and Tuesday, for temperatures into the lower 30s, mainly across the region. And through this week, we'll be pretty much cloudy here, still celebrating the New Year's on Tuesday. I know I will be. And then we'll be seeing some temperatures into the 30s by the time we get back to the weekend. And there might be a minor snow chance, though, on Saturday or Sunday.
All right, yeah, I love the look at maybe some sunshine later on in the week. It helps kind of just start the new year off on the right foot. But, you know, you can do it with clouds as well.
You can do it with clouds.
Thank you so much, David. Yeah. It is 6:17. Coming up, we've got a recap on the Vikings-Packers game and a look at the Vikings' chances for securing a playoff spot. Plus, we're taking a look at the Iowa Hawkeyes bowl game. That's happening tonight. It's all coming up next in sports. And remember, you can always get KTTC updates on the go. Just download the free KTTC app to your smartphone for the latest news, weather, and sports.
Good morning and Happy New Year, everyone. I'm Nick Spiliopoulos here with the top 3 sports stories you need to know this morning. The road to the playoffs for the Minnesota Vikings have shrank to minuscule. Vikings' hopes at a playoff berth almost all but gone. Jordan Love threw for 3 touchdowns and rushed for another. Vikings quarterback problems continued last night after a lackluster first half, including 2 turnovers from the rookie Jaron Hall. Kevin O'Connell turned to Nick Mullins in half 2. But nothing big enough to change the outcome as the Packers pick up a 33-10 win in Week 17. Out of the NHL, Marc-Andre Fleury became the 4th ever goaltender in NHL history to play 1,000 career games. But the Winnipeg Jets played spoilers for Flower and the Wild, taking a 3-2 win out of the X Sunday. That loss also means the Wild's 7-game home winning streak comes to a close. And later today in the world of college football, it's the Iowa Hawkeyes' turn during bowl season. 17th ranked Hawkeyes taking on number 21 Tennessee Volunteers in the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. Kickoff from Camping World Stadium in Orlando is noon. Those are the top 3 sports stories you need to know this morning. Have a great New Year's Day, everyone.
The newest incarnation of America's Got Talent Fantasy League premieres tonight. It features the return of past judges and several tweaks to the competition. NBC's Mark Barger has a preview.
Shadow Ace is just one of the fan favorites returning tonight for the newest incarnation of America's Got Talent Fantasy League.
This is more fun than I've ever had in anything that I've done with AGT, because we actually get to, rather than just comment and criticize, I got to help.
You judges are going to pick 10 acts for your own personal team.
And for the first time, the judges have the chance to coach their acts.
I like doing the mentoring, so you really get to kind of know them up close and personal.
Mel B returns to the judging panel.
She's a little firecracker.
Just as the competition between them heats up.
That was fantastic! I'm so jealous!
And I think this is something that America can get behind, your favorite judge and the team.
There's also a twist with the golden buzzer. Judges can use it to steal any act from any team and send them straight to the finale.
I feel like the boys grew some long catty nails in this whole thing. It was just not Mel and I don't know, but the claws definitely came out.
I stood there, I didn't sing, I felt like a Spice Girl.
Simon got hydrated, moisturized, aggressively moisturized.
Which could lead to AGT's most aggressively competitive season yet.
It's been fun, it's been exhausting, emotional, but really, really, really good.
Mark Barger, NBC News.
Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, and those acts look so impressive. America's Got Talent Fantasy League premieres tonight at 7. You can watch it right here on KTTC. The Tournament of Roses parade floats made their way to Pasadena late Sunday night. The parade floats took to the streets Sunday night in an escort to Pasadena, all primed and prepped for the 135th annual Tournament of Roses parade, which is kicking off before the annual Rose Bowl college football game, with this year's teams featuring Michigan and Alabama. This year's theme is celebrating a world of music, the universal language. That sounds like fun. The Southern California tradition will travel down Colorado Boulevard into Pasadena, showing off a colorful spectacle highlighting how music connects people. You can watch it right here on KTTC at 10 o'clock this morning. It is 6:26. If you're a renter or a landlord in Minnesota, listen up. There's some new laws involving housing coming to the state, and it all starts today, the first day of the year. We're going to break down all those rules for you. Just stay with us.
Mike Bra runs the tenant hotline of the organization.
Making headlines this morning, it's the first of the year, bringing several new laws to Minnesota, including changes to paid sick leave. Find out if your role is impacted. Plus, if being more active or getting outside is part of your New Year's resolutions, today's event may be just for you.
And as we kick off the new year, we're seeing some cloud coverage this morning. I'll break it down to see if we're going to clear out later this afternoon. I'll have the details.
Live from your local news leader, this is KTTC News.
Good morning and thank you for joining us on this New Year's Day. I'm Darian Letty in for Jesse Kelsey. It is January 1st, which means a number of new laws in Minnesota are going into effect. Let's take a look at some of those. First up, the new statewide sick and safe time law will require employers to provide paid sick time off to most working Minnesotans. Under the new law, employees will earn 1 hour of sick and safe time for every 30 hours worked, with a maximum of 48 hours a year. This is for anyone who works at least 80 hours in a year for an employer in the state, excluding independent contractors. The Minnesota Department of Labor and Industry says temporary and part-time employees are also covered under the law. Another new law is making Minnesota's voting more accessible to those who don't speak English as a first language. Starting today, every precinct in the state will be providing ballots and other materials in the state's 3 most commonly spoken languages outside of English. For now, that includes Spanish, Somali, and Hmong. However, that could change as Minnesota's most common languages may shift over time. Meanwhile, workers in Minnesota who make minimum wage will see an increase in their paychecks beginning today. The boost, which the Department of Labor and Industry says is adjusted for inflation, will be $10.85 per hour for large employers and $8.85 for small employers. It's worth noting that the statewide wage hike will not interfere with the minimum wage requirements in Minneapolis and St. Paul, both of which have already implemented higher hourly rates. As of today, every school district in Minnesota will be required to provide sanitary products free of charge to students who menstruate. The new law states that the products must be available in restrooms regularly used by students in grades 4 through 12. Another area with some new laws, housing. There are several new laws impacting hundreds of thousands of both renters and property owners. Danny Spiewak reports.
Hundreds of thousands of Minnesotans live in rental units, including the majority of people in the cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul.
Most tenants and most landlords get along with each other. They figure it out.
Mike Vra runs a tenant hotline at the organization Homeline.
They need each other. A landlord needs a tenant to pay the rent, and the tenant needs a landlord to provide housing.
But starting Monday, there are some changes to state law that will impact that relationship.
This is definitely giving tenants more certainty on some things.
Besides the heat rule, the legislature passed a number of requirements for property owners, including giving 24 hours notice before entering a rental unit, mandating the right to inspections before or after a move, disclosing additional fees and advertisements, and issuing 14 days written notice before filing evictions for not paying rent.
It gives the tenant a chance to come up with the money, whether it's from emergency assistance, maybe a friend, family member, a church even.
Many building owners already follow some of these rules.
They're following it, but it's always good to have a little bit of flexibility.
Cecil Smith heads the Minnesota Multi-Housing Association, which represents 2,000 housing providers.
It just adds a lot of cost. When we keep adding lots more regulations onto the housing sector, it doesn't improve the housing affordability challenge. It only makes it harder.
For example, Smith points to the 14-day eviction notice.
There's 2 more weeks before any rent gets paid.
He also takes issue with the 24-hour notice of entry.
And that doesn't allow for flexibilities like, deliveries of new appliances. Sometimes hard to get a delivery done.
Previously, landlords only had to give what was known as reasonable notice, although some used 24 hours as a general rule.
But there was that handful of landlords that didn't, and so this gives everybody some clarity on what's fair.
Happening today, you can start 2024 off in the right direction by taking part in the New Year's Day Resolution 5K in Rochester. It's put on by Terra Loco. The run will start at the shoe store just off of 16th Street Southwest. Runners will also share their resolutions for the new year with each other. There will be snacks and free prizes as well. It all kicks off at 11 this morning. We're going to have more information on our website, KTTC.com. And if you're also looking to get active in another way, you may want to head over to a Minnesota State Park for the annual First Day Hike. At about a dozen parks, Minnesota State Park naturalists will be giving guided tours and hikes throughout the parks. It's part of a nationwide initiative led by America's state parks to get people outdoors, with more than 400 hikes scheduled on this day in all 50 states. Some of the participating parks in our area include Whitewater State Park and Frontenac State Park. The hikes are free, but you will still have to pay for a vehicle permit to enter the park. And in other news, the ramps in downtown Rochester are no longer free for 2 hours. This is part of a program that started back in November where the parks were going to be free for 2 hours, and now it's just back to 1 hour. So if you go and you park at a ramp, just be prepared to pay those fees. And a reminder that parking is free downtown after 5 and on the weekends. It's a good way to get out and enjoy our downtown. Is it a good day to maybe go out and do some shopping? Here's David Burgett with a look at the forecast. Hey, David.
Hey, Darian. Yeah, if you're wanting to go out and go do some shopping to start off the new year and spend some money, well, we'll have some nice conditions. It'll just be kind of cloudy this morning all throughout the region. We are seeing cloudy conditions here right now on the weather patio. Our temperature out is about 22 degrees here on the weather patio, and we're having a feels like temperature that's going to be around 11 degrees. So we are seeing some colder temperatures this morning, definitely outside here in Rochester. Temperatures all around the region are going to be into the teens and even into the 20s. Warmer temperatures there along the Mississippi this morning, and we are seeing some calmer wind speeds out of the west-northwest, peaking around Austin and in Rochester at 7 miles per hour. All that cloud coverage, take a look at that all across our region. We are being just blessed with cloud coverage today. So it's trailing all the way through the state right now and through Iowa. So that's going to be sticking around with us for the morning. There is a potential for us to kind of clear out in that cloud coverage in the afternoon. I think it'll be pretty much sticking around through us all day before we get more of a clearing out towards the evening hour. So I'm breaking down whether or not we're going to warm up as we make our way into the new year in my next forecast.
All right, looking forward to it. Thanks so much, David. 2 people have minor injuries after a crash that caused a snowplow to flip on its side in Duluth. Here's a look at authorities working after the incident. The crash happened around 8:30 Sunday morning near Mesaba Avenue and 4th Street. According to Duluth police, their initial investigation shows a plow was attempting to stop, and due to icy road conditions, it slid into a vehicle that was stopped at a stop sign. The 2 individuals in the vehicle sustained minor injuries, and one was taken to a local hospital. Lawmakers return from the holiday break this month with a list of New Year's resolutions to tackle. Preliminary government numbers show record migration at the southern border in December. In Congress, both parties say they want to address the border crisis, but Republicans say it has to come first. That leaves Ukraine and Israel desperate for aid. And that's not the only budgetary battle awaiting lawmakers after the holiday recess. The federal government is running a stopgap funding. Without a deal, it would shut down in about a month. An investigation is underway after police look for suspects after a shooting at a Walmart just outside of Grand Rapids, Michigan, and it left 2 people hurt on New Year's Eve. Police say they received several calls reporting shots fired at the Walmart in the town of Wyoming around 6 p.m. Authorities say there was an interaction between 2 suspects and an individual that resulted in at least 10 rounds being fired. Upon arrival, officers found a woman who was unrelated to the situation, that she had been shot, and a man who authorities believe was targeted in the exchange was taken to a local hospital. Both victims are being treated for non-life-threatening injuries. The store was evacuated and closed for the night. A 10-person family escaped a home in a home fire in Austin, Texas, early Sunday morning. Firefighters say 8 adults and 2 children narrowly escaped the blaze. Crews managed to put the fire out, and damages are estimated to be $150,000 for the structure and $50,000 for the home's contents. Authorities said the cause of the fire was ruled as improperly discarded smoking material. Austin Police Department's Victim Services and Central Texas Red Cross are helping the family. The ball in New York City dropped, bringing in the new year of 2024. Viewers gathered in the city that never sleeps to count down the final seconds of 2023. Security measures were also ramped up ahead of the celebration as tensions have grown due to the ongoing war between Israel and Hamas. As the confetti flew in New York, people took pictures, they embraced the moment, and they shared the special first kiss of the new year. Pretty cool. Always love that tradition. And a reminder, we're just 2 weeks away from the 70th annual KTTC Eagles Cancer Telethon. All of the money stays right here in Minnesota. We hope that you'll join us on January 13th and 14th as we raise hope and awareness for cancer research. It's 6:39. Some may have a passion for music, and some might enjoy a beer here and there. Well, for this group that's coming up, it's both. When we come back, we're going to take you to South Dakota to meet the Beer Choir and hear about their efforts to make a difference. But first, here's David.
If you're going to be outside today, you can expect some cloudy conditions, and temperatures right now are into the 20s across the region. Are we going to warm up or cool down as we make our way into the new year? I'll let you know coming up.
It's a combination that's brought millions together, drinking and singing. Take a listen. Just really beautiful singing there. Beer Choir is a national organization based in St. Paul that hosts events to bring people together, drink beer, and sing songs. And local chapters like this one you're seeing right now in Siouxland, their beer choir, they go around the area doing just that, making a stop over the weekend at Jefferson Beer Supply in Jefferson, South Dakota. Events like these are able to bring in new customers to the brewery and can help spread the word about the choir.
We've been eyeing them for a while and hanging their flyers up and hoping someday we got to be a spot for them to stop. So we're really grateful they're here. We love partnering with all kinds of different groups, and every time we can, we reach their audience, they reach our audience. It's kind of like a high tide raises all boats kind of partnership.
Yeah. The choir comes prepared to ensure everyone knows all the words to every song, bringing a beer choir hymnal for them to follow along with. Got the lyrics and music there to help out. It also certainly helps that the leader of the Siouxland Beer Choir is also an associate professor of music at Morningside University in Sioux City, Iowa.
I'm a professional conductor, and so the whole rest of the year, everything I do besides beer choir is very academic and hard work, and we strive for perfection. Beer choir is very, very spontaneous. People will shout out ideas and we'll just go with it. It's silly, but it's also very fun. And really, what beer choir is about is building community. And this brewery right now is packed full of people who are excited at the end of a long holiday weekend to get together, sing some songs, drink some drinks.
How fun. The Siouxland Beer Choir performs about 4 times a year with their next event scheduled for the spring. There are also chapters in Grand Rapids and the Twin Cities in Minnesota, and there's also one in Charles City, Iowa, just to name a few of them there. Seems like a lot of fun. We got to figure out how to get them in Rochester, David, because I would love to see that at one of our breweries.
That would be really fun to go and attend, but how many times do you think they get the request? 101 bottles of beer on the wall.
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely got to be up there on the request.
Yeah.
They definitely have got that in their beer choir hymnals, as they have.
And beer choir hymnals.
Yes.
It's going to be a whole gospel choir now, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Were you ever in choir, David?
I was in high school.
Okay.
Yes. So
Me too.
I was kind of similar realm, but we weren't drunk in high school, obviously.
No. But maybe we could start a beer choir now, you and me, and then whoever else is watching.
We could make
interested.
whoever's watching. We can make a KTTC beer choir for us. Yeah.
I'm here for it.
We'll sing all of our jingles that we do, before the stock markets and the farm markets and sports.
Oh yeah, we've got some fun instrumental music to work with.
Yeah.
How's the forecast looking, David?
The forecast today is looking a little wah in terms of the sunshine, at least in the forecast right now in this morning. So we are seeing some cloudy conditions on the region right now. 20 degrees here in Rochester. We're just slightly below that average for this time of year. As we get into January, we're around 23 to 24 degrees for that. But we are seeing some calmer winds out of the west-northwest, making it feel almost like 10 degrees outside. So pretty much a cold start to the morning with temperatures around the region into the 20s for us here. Some places in the teens, like in Steele County there and in Dodge County. And we are seeing a lot of that cloud coverage overhead here. And that's going to be kind of just expanding all across our region right now, even all to our neighboring states here and all the way into Iowa right down below us here. So that cloud coverage will really be with us throughout the day today, and our wind speeds will be picking up and our wind gusts into the evening hours here, into the upper teens and even lower 20s across the region for us in terms of those wind speeds and gusts into the overnight hours for tonight. But for today, we'll see mostly cloudy and calm conditions today. There is a clearing that could be taking place and then the cloud coverage into the later afternoon hours, but I think the clearing will really come towards the evening hours and it'll be more cool outside as we make our way into the overnight hours, but we'll see more mild temperatures as we make our way into this week and be more dry in terms of the forecast. So this morning we are going to be seeing temperatures into the teens and into the 20s across the region. Cloud coverage really, again, sticking with us throughout the morning and into the afternoon hours, and we'll see temperatures into the upper 20s for today. A clearing according to this model will take place during around the midnight hours tonight for the start of your Tuesday for us, and we are going to be seeing temperatures into the lower 20s. Cloud coverage kind of filters back on through the region as we make our way into Tuesday morning for us. Temperatures for the high tomorrow will be into the 30s. I think this model is a little bit too heavy on that cloud coverage for tomorrow. As we make our way into January, we'll be above average, but take a look at this. The Climate Prediction Center, as we go into week 2, is predicting for us to be a little bit below average in terms of our temperatures here for Rochester and really into the Dakotas there and for us there. So we are going to be seeing cooler temperatures potentially, but if we're recapping December now that we're in January, we saw almost 1.15 inches worth of rain. That's actually a departure. We're almost close to our average for December, but our wettest day was actually on Christmas when we got all of that rainfall and even warm temperatures and that record-breaking stretch there. And in terms of our temperatures, we actually saw an average high of 31.8 degrees. Our warmest day was actually on December 7th where we hit 54 degrees. That's almost 17 degrees above average for that temperature there for our hottest day in December. So pretty warm December. This could be the warmest December on average for us here. We'll have to wait for the National Weather Service to confirm that, but we are going to be seeing cloudy conditions, potential clearing for today. We are going to see some breezier conditions tomorrow and temperatures into the 30s and with more cloud coverage across the region with potential clearings. And this week we are going to be seeing temperatures into the 20s and 30s for us here across the region. So really getting excited on that Tuesday there. So I thought I'd clear that off for us.
I love it. Yeah, looking forward to a bit of some more sunshine coming our way. You know, we may have to wait a couple days into the new year to get off on the sort of bright note, but you know, we can bring the sunshine.
We can bring the sunshine with that beer choir, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm still thinking about that beer choir.
Yeah.
Thanks, David.
You're welcome.
It is 6:50. Google has reached a multiple billion-dollar settlement over tracking its users using incognito browsers. We'll have the details to that case coming up. Google has settled a $5 billion consumer privacy lawsuit. The tech giant agreed to settle a lawsuit claiming it secretly tracked the internet use of millions of people who thought they were doing it in a private browser. A trial date in the proposed class action was scheduled for February 5th. However, the judge put it on hold Thursday after lawyers from both sides said they had reached a preliminary settlement. Settlement terms are not disclosed, but the lawsuit sought at least $5 billion. Lawyers said they have agreed to a binding term sheet through the mediation and are expected to present a formal settlement for court approval by February 24th. Chief Justice John Roberts is raising concerns about artificial intelligence and says it poses a threat on the judicial system. Roberts released his end-of-the-year report on Sunday. He said while AI can increase access to legal information for people, especially those who may not be able to hire a lawyer, he also sees dangers with AI. Roberts said AI could invade a person's privacy and, in his words, dehumanize the law. He said the Judicial Conference, the body that oversees policy making for the federal courts, will soon examine AI's proper use in litigation. While Roberts addressed the issue of AI, he did not discuss upcoming disputes involving former President Donald Trump or issues surrounding the court's new code of conduct. It is 6:54. Here's a live look outside this morning at Highway 52 and 37th Street Northwest. When we come back, David's going to have a look at the weather on this first day of the new year when we come back. It is 6:56 on this Monday morning. Here's a look at your top stories. A Rochester teen is dead after a vehicle crash in Dakota County. According to the Hennepin County Medical Examiner's Office, around 7 p.m., 18-year-old Ruwaida Fauci Saeed was in a crash in Northfield Boulevard near 210th Street East in Vermilion Township. The Medical Examiner's Office said Saeed died on the scene after receiving multiple blunt force injuries. No other information is available at this time. Happening today, you can start off your 2024 on the right foot by taking part in the New Year's Day Resolution 5K in Rochester. It's put on by Terra Loco. The run will start at the shoe store off of 16th Street Southwest. Runners will also share their resolutions for the new year. There will be snacks and free prizes as well. It all starts at 11 this morning. And if you're also looking to get active in another way, you may want to head over to a Minnesota State Park for the annual First Day Hike. At about a dozen parks, Minnesota State Park naturalists will be giving guided hikes throughout the parks. It's part of a nationwide initiative led by America's State Parks to get people outdoors, with more than 400 hikes scheduled on this day across all 50 states. Some of the participating parks in our area include Whitewater State Park, that video you see right there, and Frontenac State Park. The hikes are free, but you'll still need to get a vehicle permit to enter the park if you're driving and parking there. The last Powerball drawing of 2023 took place Saturday night, and once again, no one won the big valued jackpot. That's just over $786 million. The jackpot will now roll into the new year, and that's going to be worth an estimated $810 million during the next drawing that's happening today. It would rank it the 5th largest Powerball jackpot and the 10th largest U.S. lottery jackpot ever. If a ticket does match all 6 numbers tonight, the estimated cash value would be $408.9 million. Wouldn't that be nice to start the new year with that? And also, here's a live look at Times Square this morning, where just hours ago, people were gathered watching the famous ball drop. I actually have a good friend who went there, and I was kind of living vicariously through her on her Instagram, and had really cool videos, and just looked like a really, really incredible time. Me, myself, I rang in the new year at home in my living room, and it was just as good. So, you know, whether you're at you were in New York at Times Square or you were just at home, you can still start off the new year on a really good foot.
That is true. Or if you were asleep, you slept through the new year like we did. I mean, we're started off on the right foot. There's all those activities going around today and this week to start off the new year.
Yeah, definitely. How's the weather going to be looking today for it?
We're actually going to see some cloud coverage really through the first part of this week. So, and then we'll see more clearing for more sunshine, and we are going to be seeing temperatures into the upper 20s and lower 30s this week, so still above average in terms of our temperatures, but more mild. So we could see some clearing of that cloud coverage today too, so you could see some peaks of sunshine in the forecast for the first day of the year.
Okay, yeah, looking forward to it. Started the new year off on kind of a bit of a mild note, but not a bad way at all.
No, I would agree with you.
Any resolutions that you're going to try to stick to this year?
Well, already breaking them. Looking at my phone.
Already breaking them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. First thing I did this morning. I mean, it's so hard.
It is really hard. I mean, when you hear something that you can just like get up out of bed right away, I just can't do that.
I can't do that. You gotta have a little bit of a scroll.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you have a great first day of your new year. We will